Hey, what's up? Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of SimplyPodLogical, a Simply Logical podcast.
Hello.
Today's episode is brought to you by Oats Overnight.
A sponsor.
Oats Overnight is the easiest way to make overnight oats. You don't need to follow a complicated recipe or buy a bunch of different ingredients. Just mix a pack of Oats Overnight with any milk or milk substitute, shake and refrigerate overnight, and you'll have a delicious breakfast in the morning that's high in protein, low in sugar, and gluten-free.
Who would have thought? My first sponsor on this podcast is literally Oats.
You're sponsored by Oats.
Sponsored by Oats. I love it. Oats Overnight, which I've used before. And I know you guys know I make my own overnight oats, and it's like kind of complicated. And I made a video once where there's like 12 ingredients. And the main feedback was, Cristine, that is too much shit you just put in there. I'm so confused. So I think Oats Overnight is a really great alternative for people who are on the go, which, let's be honest, not many people are. But if you don't want to deal with the complicated grocery list of 12 different things, then this is a great one because it's all in one pack. And personally, I like the flavor chai latte.
Of course.
And I know Ben likes mocha dream, although he probably doesn't know it because I just serve it to him.
Cristine has the oat making responsibilities in our household.
Yeah. So it's really easy. It's really great. And you can mix any kind of milk you want. I like almond milk. Coconut milk is good too. It kind of depends on the flavor. So like chai latte, I would use almond milk with that. I also like, the other one I like is the peanut butter cookie dough cocoa crunch or something.
Well, that's a mouthful.
Of oats. Exactly.
Okay, this isn't the oat podcast.
But it could be.
It could be.
I'm so excited.
So head over to oats.com, and right now you can get 10% off your entire order with code Simply. And enjoy a free blender bottle with your first order as well. All first orders have a full money-back guarantee if you're not completely satisfied, so you can try it risk-free. So again, that's oats.com and use code Simply for 10% off.
I haven't said that in a while. Use my code Simply for 10% off at oats.com. Like, what does my life become?
It's like the beauty gurus.
Except healthy breakfast. 20 grams of protein, which is good for you.
Thank you, sponsors.
Thank you, Oats.
Thank you,
Oats Overnight.
Oats.com.
We are very proud.
How'd they
this
get
is
that
so
domain?
exciting that our first sponsorship on this podcast is literally Oats. So, yeah.
Okay. Last week's episode was a little heavy. We talked about billionaires and like the ethics of capitalism, and the comment section got a little bit spicy. So today, I think we thought it would be fun to do something a little more lighthearted and take personality tests or quizzes.
What if it turns out really dark?
Maybe it will,
then it's not that lighthearted, Ben. Then we're going in the same dark direction.
Actually, I've never taken a personality test before.
I've taken a psychopathy one.
Psychopathy?
In criminology class, yeah. To just
took
to make
it?
sure that I wasn't a psychopath.
To validate? Oh, okay.
No, not to... just to make sure.
I mean, so what does this tell you? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, you are maybe a psychopath?
Yeah, pretty
Something
much.
along
Except
those lines,
I never did things like, had a certain interest in old people or tortured animals as a child. So I didn't really score very high on such tests.
See.
Yeah.
I know there's like a subculture of people online who are super into personality tests, because I'll see comments on your videos sometimes randomly of like, I wonder if Cristine is an ENTJ or INTAB, and like I have no idea what these
And here I am
mean.
just wondering if they're trying to spell my name. Like a CRISTINE.
But seriously, like, what is the attraction of personality tests? I guess people think they learn something about themselves by taking them.
Isn't it kind of like horoscopes in a sense? You feel like you're learning something about yourself, or maybe it just confirms what you already think about yourself.
I think there's a little more legitimacy to it than
where
were the stars in your astrological chart.
I don't mean the validity. I just mean what it does for you as a person. Like some people just want to feel like a confirmation in their own suspicions about why they behave the way they do.
Is it that, or is it like, hey, you are a confident, this type of personality, you would be good at this kind of job?
And
like
maybe that
too,
reinforces someone's confidence to pursue something, right? So it's kind of the same thing.
Maybe. I'm a little nervous though, because I'm worried like I don't want to fail the test.
Well, that's probably in your personality description.
Can you fail a personality test?
No, Ben. It just means you have a nervous personality.
Well, but seriously, like there must be outcomes that are worse than others, right? So like, is there an outcome of the test like you have a shitty personality?
I can tell you're very unsure of yourself, Ben.
I am. There we go. I guess I'm just scared to see what we're going to find. So we found this free personality test on 16personalities.com. It's a pretty common one. I've seen other YouTubers have made videos of them literally just taking
So what's do you know the logic behind that? Like, is there 16 personalities?
I think they have 16 different personality types. I'm not totally sure. I think when we look at the results, we'll see the different personality types, or you can browse.
What if
their
you have
page.
all 16 at once?
Multiple. Does it? Yeah. Does it include people with multiple personalities?
That's not the term. It's dissociative identity disorder.
Okay. I didn't realize we had an expert here.
I am not. We are not experts also in psychology, just so you know. Like.
Yeah, and like they claim that the test is validated, and they have like accredited staff that come up with the quiz, but like we have no idea. We're doing this for fun. We're not looking at this as like a clinical instrument.
Curious. I'm curious what it's going to say about me. I know I'm a little high strung and a little crazy, so I wonder if it'll pick up on that. Okay. Does it know that I reorganized 2,000 nail polishes in rainbow order?
What does that say about your personality?
We'll find out on this episode of Simply Podlogical.
All right, so we're both going to take it at the same time, and maybe we'll debate the answers. I guess we're already throwing off the results in the sense that, like, if I answer something that you disagree with, you're probably going to shame me, and maybe there is this social feedback. The lack of anonymity makes it kind of harder to answer questions honestly. There's also all the people watching.
Social desirability.
Exactly. So.
Not just because of you, whose opinion will not influence my answers, but just knowing that there are millions of people watching. Of course, a person wouldn't pick the I would murder people option. Not that I would, but I'm just saying, it might influence someone to pick the more socially responsible option.
All right, let's just get into it then. All right, first question. You enjoy vibrant social events with lots of people. Do you agree or disagree? It's just a scale of do you strongly agree or strongly disagree? So
strongly disagree.
How strongly do you?
Very strongly.
Strong disagree.
Maximum.
I'm gonna say I enjoy social situations.
Butterfly.
There's times where I don't want to deal with people, but I'll put myself in the middle of positive, and Christine's gonna be
disagree.
A strong disagree. You often spend time exploring unrealistic yet intriguing ideas.
Unrealistic.
Do you dream about weird
unrealistic
things?
Honestly, not really.
When you're thinking of YouTube videos?
No, I'm pretty grounded in what can be accomplished. Of course, I still set goals for myself, but I consider most of them pretty realistic. So I wouldn't strongly agree, but the one just before, disagree. Sorry, wouldn't strongly disagree.
I kind of disagree. I feel like I'm too busy thinking of real shit than sit around thinking about unicorns and rainbows.
Well, what's wrong with unicorns and rainbows? It's on my nail polish.
All right, next question. Your travel plans are more likely to look like a rough list of ideas than a detailed itinerary.
What travel plans?
Yeah.
I ain't got where's that not applicable option?
I know we joke that I'm the guy who loves vacations, and I do, and I'm sad that we're not able to travel right now. I literally took time off work right before a pandemic, hoping that I could travel. How are you enjoying
your vacation, Ben?
But I will say when we went to Banff with Rob and Corinne, for example, I had super detailed list of all the things we could do there because you need to enjoy vacation, but I think there should be a balance between accomplishing and doing the things there.
Exactly. You want to make sure you accomplish some things that you went there for.
So I'm pretty strongly agreeing that I disagree pretty strongly because I do have an itinerary.
Yes, exactly.
What about you, Christine? You don't plan vacations, so I don't know. I
would put myself in the middle because I don't really plan vacations, but I also like to let someone else like yourself kind of decide what makes sense because I'm just not good at figuring out where we should go and what we should do. Mm-hmm. It's not that I don't want to figure it out. I just realize I'm not the best person to.
Okay.
So that's why I'm in the middle.
All right, next question. You often think about what you should have said in a conversation long after it has taken place.
After every podcast.
That's not long after,
I'm still thinking of last week.
You can relate to
things I missed. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm crazy. I've talked to other people. I think a lot of people relate to this. I think of something mean or something not nice I said to someone 15 years ago, and sometimes it just pops up into my head still, and I feel bad about it. You know what I mean?
Man.
Can you relate to that though? Sometimes I'll just remember something from high school, and it'll just like affect my mental health now.
So you
It's
think
super
of mean
strange.
things that you said. I think of mean things that other people did to me. Okay.
Not that I was like a mean person in high school, but you know what I mean? Like,
Now we know our personalities.
if I said something insensitive 20 years ago, like I
You
never
remember
forget it.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, that's good. I think that's good.
So I'm going to strongly agree on this one. How about you?
Yeah, strongly agree -1.
Okay.
I do think long and hard. And it's usually not because I said something mean. It's because I just sounded like an idiot and I had a much better way I should have put it.
Also, like with arguments too, like do you ever get into an argument with someone and then like as soon as you're leaving, you think of like the perfect thing to say, and then you just think about
like,
that for a long time. There's an expression for that in French. What's it called? L'esprit d'escalier or something? The spirit of the escalator.
Oh.
Like as soon as you're past the point of
Right.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah.
All right. If your friend is sad about something, your first instinct is to support them emotionally, not try to solve their problem. I know where you should answer for this one. Based
Where I
on
should
experience.
or where I do.
What you do.
I think I try and solve the problem.
You are very much a problem solver. There's sometimes where I feel like your ability to empathize with people is kind of not there, and you're more like robotic.
But I am trying to help them in a meaningful way. And sometimes by helping them fix the problem will relieve their emotional stress. Because I'm not a good therapist or someone to talk to. Like, I'm just not.
Sometimes when someone's complaining about something, they just want to complain and they don't want suggestions about how to fix the situation. And I think that's frustrating for people like you who are just like problem solving oriented. Yeah.
So I would disagree.
So you strongly disagree.
I mean, no, but that makes me sound like I completely don't care. Strongly disagree -1.
Christine is a robot.
Of course, if I have friends who've gone through a breakup or something, like I'm there and we'll eat pizza or ice cream or whatever. But,
you're not eating ice cream with your friends.
No, but I'm thinking of like in university, yes. But I'd still try and solve the problem and, like find them a better man. Just kidding.
I think I'm kind of like you, but less so. I think you should have strongly disagreed on that one.
No.
All right, and the last question on this first page. People can rarely upset you. Is that true?
Is that true of anyone? What person does no one ever upset?
You have a pretty thick skin about things, I think.
Yeah, but everyone gets upset by... What if someone, like, killed your whole family? Would that not upset you? Like, people can rarely upset you.
That's a pretty extreme example.
But I'm just saying, like, you got to read between the lines, right? People can rarely upset you. Who is like that? Only a sociopath can be never upset by a person.
Okay, so you pretty strongly disagree with that one in the middle?
Well,
you don't get upset often. I think you're
sure, but I wouldn't strongly disagree either, because then that's suggesting that people often upset
You're supposed to answer these in like 10 seconds.
I think we're overanalyzing the questions, Ben.
Okay.
I would put it in the middle because I do like
you somewhat disagree.
People can upset me, but I try and not let them.
I disagree a little more strongly. I find I sometimes randomly get annoyed super easily. Mm-hmm. Like if I'm sitting next to someone and they're like coughing without covering their mouth, something like that. That shit like that can drive me nuts. You? Yeah, I get upset.
You get upset. And what do you do when you're upset, Ben? Eat a banana ferociously.
Thank you. Oh, very funny. All right, 8% done. You often rely on other people to be the ones to start a conversation and keep it going. Okay, Christine very strongly agrees.
Ben doesn't need me to answer. He just knows based on this podcast.
I just see your facial expression.
Go on, Ben.
And I moderately disagree.
You're so good at having a conversation. Like leading a conversation. More?
I don't know. I've been in conversations with people who...
But they make
it
awkward.
If they give you nothing back, it's really hard just to have like a one-way conversation. But that's
their fault. You are good at having a conversation no matter who it's with. I am not.
Actually, it's kind of an interesting point about this podcast. I think people have noticed that I probably talk more than you.
Yeah.
And it's not because like I'm trying to speak for you or dominate the conversation. Just I can see, and maybe you can't tell from the camera angles, that sometimes like you are just getting really uncomfortable or you're about to stutter or something. So I'll just sort of like jump in and start talking.
Yeah. I've seen a few people speculate like, oh, he speaks for her now. He thinks he controls her. And I'm like, guys, it's the other way around. Because he knows that like I just don't have anything to say, or I know he can put it in a more intelligent way. So I want him to say it.
Give yourself some credit. Low self-esteem. That's what your personality is. Yeah. All right. If you have to temporarily put your plans on hold, you make sure it is your top priority to get back on track as soon as possible.
Yes. Strongly agree.
Cristine strongly agrees.
Ready to go.
I don't know about this.
No.
I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm less motivated than you. You rarely worry if you would make a good impression on someone you met.
No, I worry.
You do worry?
I think so.
What, moderately agree?
I mean, not in a superficial way, but just in a way like, I hope this person doesn't think I'm an idiot kind of way. You know, like that's what I worry about if I'm to meet someone. Or like if I meet a prof, or if I gave a guest lecture in university, I'm really worried that, you know, kids in my class didn't think I was some idiot.
I would say when I was young, I really cared about what other people thought of me to a fault. Like in high school, for example, I cared way too much about that other popular kids like thought I was cool and stuff like that. And I feel like I grew up and kind of got out of that mindset. So good. But you still like not caring about, you know, you should care about making an impression on people. You know, we live in a society. So I'm going to answer the same as you.
Okay.
It would be a challenge for you to spend the whole weekend all by yourself without feeling bored.
That's what we do every day of the week.
Weekend. Try 3 months. No, but at least we have each other, right? If I wasn't here,
good point.
If you were just all alone in this house, would you go crazy?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Crazier than I already am. I mean, here's the thing. I consider myself an introvert because I don't like going to giant parties. That being said, I still like to interact with a select few people in my life. Right? So I think being completely alone would not be good for my mental health. Yeah.
Okay. So you strongly agree it would be a challenge?
I'd say one less than strongly. It's not like I always need it because sometimes I just want to paint my nails by myself, you know?
And I like having you, my life partner, around, but I'm going to say I moderately disagree just because...
You'd be totally fine.
I think I'm kind of okay being solitude in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. You are more of a detailed-oriented than a big picture person. All right, Cristine's nodding. She is very much a detail person.
I agree.
I'm going to pretty strongly disagree. I think I see the bigger picture. And I think that has to do with why we work pretty well together. And I think it's because you are more of the details person and I can see the bigger picture sometimes.
We see the whole painting.
Go team. I can see the forest through the trees. Cristine just sees the trees.
I only see the leaves, Ben, not the trees.
No, not even the trees. You are very affectionate with people you care about.
What do they mean by affectionate? Like hand holding?
You know, like we make out in public and stuff. You know?
Oh, I don't do that. No. I hate PDA. It's annoying.
Do we hold hands out
but
in
that's
public?
not true. So we hold hands all the time where I'll be like, give me a hug. But like I don't fucking shove my tongue down your throat.
Yeah, I guess it depends what your standard is.
I'm not 16, guys.
So, what do you think? You're somewhere in the middle?
I think I'm in the middle. I mean, if the question specified like in public or not, I think that would be a different answer for many people, right?
Okay. Actually, it
doesn't say.
I don't know why I assume this is a public thing. It's just in general.
Yeah.
So, are we in the middle or are we more affectionate than most people?
No, I think we're in the middle.
I think we should answer the same just because...
Or else it's uneven.
If we're different, then who are we being affectionate with? That's not each other.
It's the biggest mystery.
All right, next set of questions. You have a careful and methodical approach in life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Yeah. You strongly agree?
Yeah.
Strong. Okay, I'm going to say the same. You were still bothered by mistakes you made a long time ago. So like I already explained, like very much so. What do you think, Chris?
Second from strongly agree. Okay. Yeah, I am.
At parties and similar events, you can mostly be found farther away from the action. Okay, strongly agree from Chris. Yes. You can't nod. This is an audio podcast. Right?
Well, no, I think a lot of people watch on video. You guys like the video version, right?
Okay. And then I'm going to disagree with that.
What?
You often find it difficult to relate to people who let their emotions guide them.
Sometimes I'm like, you know what? You're making your decisions based on weird things here. Yes, I find it difficult to relate to people who make emotionally charged decisions. And I think like a good example of this is when I was younger, guys would like punch holes in walls just to assert their anger over something dumb. Yeah. Well,
what guys were you hanging out with?
University boys. I don't know. They thought it was cool. It's like an act of aggression, whatever. It's annoying to me. And I just like look at them like they're some weird species. Like, what is wrong with you? You're upset because someone spilled your drink or stole your girl or whatever, and you're literally destroying property. And I just look at them like your emotions are just so off the charts, and you literally cannot control them. And I have such trouble understanding them that I find it myself very perplexed by that behavior.
Yeah, this reminds me of like when I've taken Cristine to a few sporting events.
Yeah,
you just can't relate at all to like letting yourself get worked up and excited about a competitive athletic event.
Well, no, I'm not excited by people,
but
especially people beating each other.
It's strange the degree to which you cannot at all understand how other people are enjoying
But
it.
I think it's strange to see people get so excited, their blood pressure's going up because people are shooting pucks in a direction. Like, I just don't get it.
So I don't think I let my emotions guide me, but I can at least empathize or relate to people who are more emotionally driven, whereas you are a robot. When looking for a movie to watch, you can spend ages browsing the catalog.
Every night, baby.
Doesn't everyone do this? Like, we spend more time on Netflix just like clicking through the different options like, than watching something.
Nope. And then I'm like, do they have a trailer? Nope.
You can stay calm under a lot of pressure. What do you think? Do you stay calm? I think I stay calm. I stay calm.
I wouldn't strongly agree to that. I would put it one after the middle towards agree.
Okay.
Yeah, because I could get a little freaked out if things aren't going well. Yeah.
All right. When in a group of people you do not know, you have no problem jumping right into the conversation.
Strongly disagree.
Haven't there been like 5 questions exactly like this?
They're all getting to the same thing. They're just trying to shame me for not being sociable.
Okay. I have no problem. You have a lot of problems.
That's the summary.
When you sleep, your dreams tend to be bizarre and fantastical.
Mine are more bizarre than fantastical. Does that mean I agree?
Not both.
This question
you have weird dreams. I never remember my dreams. Didn't you? You just had a dream the other day.
About a snake and Menchie, and I stabbed the snake.
Or no, you told me about something about a bee.
Oh, the bee. Yeah. I dreamt that I was getting murdered by the
killer wasp
or
something?
Yeah, exactly. Like what's going on in America or something. Like I saw one news article on it. Okay. Didn't think much of it. I had a dream that they were all killing me. And then I wake up the next morning. I go downstairs to do a workout. And there's literally a bee crawling on our workout floor.
In the basement,
In the basement. Like we don't have bees in our
I've never
house.
seen a bee in the house
Right.
before.
So then I knew, like, today's the day I'm going to die.
So your dream was really a premonition.
Right. So I'm psychic.
Well,
not psycho, psychic.
That is pretty bizarre and fantastical, Christine. You've told me you have weird dreams. Sometimes I'll wake up in the middle of the night to Christine like kind of like whimpering.
I'll say no.
No, yeah. We just wake up and I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's like, and like she just goes back to sleep. Usually we don't have a conversation. I just need to like wake her up.
Okay, fine, agree.
Okay, strongly agree. I rarely remember my dreams. Although last night I had a dream. I was in a movie with Chris Hemsworth. But he was trying to kill me, and it wasn't clear if it was part of the dream or if it was like outside of the movie reality. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
I think his name's Chris, that Captain America guy.
Were you filming an action movie? Were you wearing tight spandex shorts?
I can't remember what I was wearing. Maybe that's what you dream about. Me or Chris Hemsworth in tight spandex shorts.
Is that bizarre or fantastical?
I rarely dream, so it's weird that I just did. In your opinion, is it sometimes okay to step on others to get ahead of them?
Aww.
I mean, what do you mean by step on others? Because a lot of the time something is a zero-sum game where your success is not dependent on someone else's failure. But in a lot of contexts, you being successful is that you're getting a promotion over someone else, or your success might be coming maybe not at the cost of someone else's failure, but in place of someone else's success.
Yeah.
So step on others seems pretty negative. So I'm going to just very minorly disagree. Oh, no, that's yours. I'm going to kind of disagree, but the softest level of disagreement.
I will do the second from the furthest.
Okay.
Disagree.
So you disagree a little bit more than me.
I think like it really depends. Like maybe that person already fucked you over.
Yeah, some
like,
people.
I don't know.
Some
right?
people deserve to be stepped on.
But generally speaking, assuming that wasn't the case, like, no, I wouldn't ruin someone just to get ahead.
Yeah, no, I hope not. You are dedicated and focused on your goals, only rarely getting sidetracked. I get sidetracked, I would say. I get hung up on weird things.
I would strongly agree. Only rarely getting sidetracked.
Okay. If you make a mistake, oh, hello, Menchie. We want to know what personality Menchie is.
She's
too.
sidetracking you.
That's right. I just got distracted. What are we doing? A quiz?
Menchie, baby.
If you make a mistake, you tend to start doubting yourself, your abilities, or your knowledge.
Yes, I do.
You do. Yeah, you do.
And I make a lot of mistakes. And then I'm like, oh, no.
That's reflected in what you don't see of Christine's YouTube videos.
I edit them out.
So you strongly agree.
Yeah.
I don't think I let mistakes stop me. You know, like when people, I think a lot of confident people are just good at faking it. Like I've been told I'm good at public speaking. And like in my job, I've been asked to deliver, presentations when maybe like I'm not totally qualified to do it just because people at work thought I was good at that.
Well, you are good at it.
But like I get nervous and stuff too. I think
a lot of
confident people I think are just better at masking their nervousness or their anxiety.
So you're an actor. You're a good actor then when you public speak.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? So yeah, I'm going to strongly disagree. When at a social event, you rarely try to introduce yourself to new people and mostly talk to the ones you already know. Mm-hmm. Even though I can talk to strangers, I prefer to talk to people I already know, I would say. So I'm going to put myself in the middle here. And
I'm definitely
you're a strong agree.
Talk to strangers, that's bad.
All right, we're almost half done the quiz. Oh, you can't rub the mic, sweetie.
Push her here.
Okay. Here,
she just wants your computer.
You usually lose interest in a discussion when it gets philosophical. Ooh.
If it said political, I think that would be a different conversation.
Yeah, you're not really interested in debating politics,
I don't really want to fight about it. I guess I'm just like tired. So I don't like fighting about politics. But philosophy, I think, is more interesting and open to interpretation and is subjective, which I find fascinating. So I would disagree. Not strongly disagree, but like the second from strongly disagree.
Okay.
Because I wouldn't lose interest if it's...
Yeah, I'd say same as you. I'm only not going to say strongly disagree because I find people who are really hung up on having like very philosophical conversations about like the possibility of knowledge and epistemology
of knowledge. Yes.
I think I've said this before that
metaphysical.
I used to be super into that sort of thing, and then over time just found it was a lot of masturbatory, I think is the appropriate word. Just like there's no point in having those conversations.
Sounds like an inappropriate word, but we understand, Ben.
You know what I mean. You would never let yourself cry in front of others. Oh.
Second from the furthest disagree. Like I have cried in front of people.
Yeah, you cried on camera. Have I cried on camera?
When you were laughing, maybe?
I think when you were upset on camera, I got a little...
yeah, you did cry.
A little bit, yeah.
That's good, though.
Actually, that's maybe... if I try to think about, like, have I cried in the last, like, 10 years? I think the only times might have been when I've seen, like, you upset about things.
Sweetie.
So, kind of disagree. You feel more drawn to places with a bustling and busy atmosphere than to more quiet and intimate ones.
These are all the same questions, basically.
Yeah, really.
Are you a social person? We could answer that with a yes or no.
And when it comes to making life-changing choices, you mostly listen to your heart rather than your head. Strongly
Incorrect.
Disagree. I think it's important to kind of listen to both.
Yeah, okay.
But more so logic.
Like, listen to your heart, too, but...
Listen to your heart.
But also, if it literally makes no sense and you're going to have a horrible outcome logically, then, like, don't do that.
Okay. All right. Next page. You usually prefer to get your revenge rather than forgive.
Oh, that's awful.
Are we being honest about this? Success is the best revenge, and I like being successful in the face of people who have not always thought I would be successful.
And who's that, Ben?
I don't know. Revenge is a pretty strong word.
Yeah,
like, I'm not like plotting to get back at people that slighted me 10 years ago. But sometimes maybe
you don't want to forgive, and you shouldn't have to. Always, right? Yeah. I don't think I have to forgive everyone who's ever hurt me in my life. So that's also why I'm not going to the strongly disagree.
That's an interesting way of looking at it. Okay, I'm going to agree with you. The time you spend by yourself often ends up being more interesting and satisfying than the time you spend with other people. It's kind of a narcissistic way of thinking about it.
At first, I thought the question was like basically just, do you prefer spending time alone? But reading it again, am I really more interesting? Like,
you don't like hanging out with other people, but it's not that it's more interesting than hanging out with other people.
Right, it's just that I don't like other people. Okay, so I wouldn't strongly disagree. I'd put myself in the middle. Middle for this, yeah. This is more like a not applicable.
I'm going to somewhat disagree. I think... yeah, it's more interesting to surround yourself with other people and other ideas.
People you can talk to.
Yeah, I just don't like most people I meet. You always know exactly what you want.
No.
No?
Not really.
Disagree moderately?
Disagree moderately, yeah.
I'm going to strongly disagree. I think
sometimes I'm just like unsure. Like I have a few options that I think I want these, and I'm just too indecisive or I'm lacking confidence in making a decision, so sometimes I'm just not sure what is the best decision.
Well, I mean, look how indecisive we are in life in general. Like, are we YouTubers? Are we crime statistics analysts?
I can't make up my mind, so I'm gonna do it all.
A lot of people appreciate that you have juggled all of these things, but I think a lot of it also comes from like an unwillingness or an indecisiveness to actually just sort of embrace one thing over the other.
Is it that, or is that I like all of them and I'm kind of greedy and that I want to do all of it?
Maybe greedy is an interesting way of looking at it. All right, next one.
Menchie wants the oats. Menchie's going to oats.com and using my code Simply for 10% off.
Oh, good.
She's going to get a good deal. Menchie's really easy to make. Even you could make it.
Okay. You rarely think back on the choices you made and wonder what you could have done differently.
Disagree, because we always think back, right?
Yeah, we both think back.
It's the same as another question.
Yeah, okay. You tend to focus on present realities rather than future possibilities.
Strongly
do you strongly agree?
Yeah.
I somewhat agree.
Okay.
You often have a hard time understanding other people's feelings.
Okay, don't put me at strongly agree. I think if I can relate to it and why someone feels a certain way, then absolutely I can understand someone's feelings. It's just if it's something that's so foreign to me, like this obsession with sports, like I don't understand your feelings. So it really depends.
So you moderately agree.
Put one down.
Okay.
I'm not a psychopath, Ben.
I'm going to disagree. When starting to work on a project, you prefer to make as many decisions up front as possible. This is an interesting one. I would say I spend a lot of the time up front really sketching out how I'm going to do something and not as much time actually doing it. So
I think it depends on the project. Like when I'm filming a video, I like to keep it more open-ended and just see what unfolds, or at least that's how I've transformed and evolved to. But when I'm working on like a holo taco collection, oh no, there's way more decisions up front. The mood board, the colors, the finish, like all these things we figure out up front before it starts taking shape. So I think it really depends. I'd put myself in the middle.
Okay. And then when you know someone thinks highly of you, you also wonder how long it will be until they become disappointed in you.
Oh, that's sad. I mean, I have low self-esteem, but I don't automatically assume that everyone will eventually become disappointed in me. So I don't agree with this one.
So you kind of disagree.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I strongly disagree with that. You feel comfortable just walking up to someone you find interesting and striking up a conversation.
Hell no.
I do, and you do not.
No. If I find them interesting, I'll just look them up on Facebook later.
Or just stare at them. Weren't we at that party
I won't
once?
Stare at them, Ben. Google them later. Come on.
One of the first YouTube parties we ever went to, I remember you were like, oh my God, there's Grace Helbig and Mamrie Hart over there.
Yeah.
And this is like you were barely known at the time. This is like maybe a party after like the first VidCon we went to.
Yeah. Yes.
And I remember we basically sat there like an hour as you worked up the courage to go talk to them. Do you remember that? No, you did.
Oh, I did.
You did.
Oh, yeah, that party. But there was another party like the night before where I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so it took 2 nights
days.
of Cristine working up the nerve to talk to someone.
Yeah. And I still think back to that moment about how I probably made an awful impression.
You think about that still?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, that's good. You often drift away into daydreaming about various ideas or scenarios.
Second from strongly
So
disagree.
you don't. I think I'm more likely to get my head stuck in the clouds. You look after yourself first and others come in second.
I think historically in my life, I've put others first a lot, especially growing up, like as a teenager.
And not necessarily that that's a positive thing.
Right, and it wasn't a good thing. So since then, in the past like 10 years, I've learned a lot more that sometimes you need to put yourself first. So I would, that level of agreement.
Okay, so you agree. I'd say I'm also going to answer that because, I think it's important to note that you really have to take care of yourself before you can take care of other people. Yeah.
You got to love yourself before you can love another.
Just not too much.
Yeah.
Even when you've planned a particular daily routine, you usually just end up doing what you feel like at any given moment.
Hell no, I follow my routine.
Disagree. I'll disagree as well. I find my most productive days are where I have given myself an outline of things I want to accomplish.
You mean my to-do lists for you?
A honey-do list. You don't give me to-do lists.
Not really.
I make my own.
Occasionally.
All right, next question. You often contemplate the reasons for human existence or the meaning of life.
Not really.
Exactly. This is what I'm talking about when it comes to like those sort of pointless ivory tower academic conversations.
Is it ivory tower or is this also a question about
It's the
religion?
kind of thing like the first year philosophy students would smoke weed in their dorm room and talk about like, well, who's the first mover if like there was no first mover, man? Like who made God if God made everything else?
But you're talking about like intellectuals, whatever. But what about like religious people who contemplate, that there's a reason for everything in life and that God is looking out for them? I think this question is kind of getting at that.
Well, I don't have a lot of...
You don't have a lot of faith?
I don't think much more highly of those people than I do of first-year philosophy students.
Well, that's... Anyways. I don't really question
disagree.
why I exist. I just know that I do, and then I proceed from there.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's important to think about... Like the meaning of life conversation is a little different, right?
Here's the thing. Like when I think about this, I think about the meaning of my life and what am I doing with my life to make it worth it, make me happy, make others around me happy. But the meaning of life in general,
in the broader context,
it exists. Here we are. Let's get some shit done.
We didn't ask to be here. We're just trying to make the best of this ride. You often talk about your own feelings and emotions. I'd say one thing.
Often? The question is often.
I talk about myself too much, I think.
Wow, it's very honest of you, Ben.
I've got a little bit of narcissism in that regard. So I think I do agree. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'd put myself in the middle. I do express like when I'm feeling things, but I don't think I often, like overly, more than average. Sure. So I'd put it in the middle.
Okay, next. Almost done. You have got detailed education or career development plans stretching several years into the future.
Well, we're like 30 years old, so we're done our
we're
planning.
A little past that. But it's not, life is about continuing to learn. Maybe that's the meaning of life, Cristine.
Okay. That's
constantly learning.
I mean, if I answered this question when I think they wrote this question for, I would say I strongly agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's just say that still. And I feel like I was just kind of flying by the seat of my pants a lot of the time, so I'm going to disagree with this one. Okay. You rarely dwell on your regrets. I think we
both
question
as
both disagree with this. Spending time in a dynamic atmosphere with lots of people around quickly makes you feel drained and in need of a getaway.
Yes.
Actually,
I just want to get away from people.
Can you replace that with vacation? Even though I enjoy being around people and being social, I also feel like it's important to have that.
And it's not always that it's bad. It's like when we go to VidCon, it's so much stimulation of people.
Is
and
that what you're thinking
That's
about?
what I'm thinking
That's
of.
like an insane scenario
Yeah,
for
I guess
most
that's
people
right.
to be in,
But
right?
it's like 200 people in a line to meet me, people screaming. We're on stage, hundreds of people in front of me, and I'm like sweating, trying to breathe, trying to talk, trying to smile. My jaw hurts, my face hurts, and I'm just get kind of hyperventilating, and I just want to go backstage in the dark. And this isn't because I like don't want to see my fans or whatever. It's just extremely overwhelming and overly stimulating.
It's a weird mix of emotions at meet and greets, right? Because like it's one of those rare opportunities you get to actually put faces to the people who like you and watch your videos.
And it's great for that.
And
reason.
that
I
is a
love,
positive
taking
experience
pictures
in
with
that
people.
sense,
Yeah.
right? But I know what you mean, and we've talked about this before. It's also knowing how much of an anxious person you are. The idea of just a crowd of people lining up to meet you is also at the same time like a pretty crazy thing for you, right?
And I guess it must be stress related, but every single time we go to these, I like get rashes on my eyes. I get more migraines. It sounds like there's ringing in my ears, even though I wasn't listening to loud music. It's just like the stress on my cranium or something. So
It's so hard having people lining up to meet you.
oh, come on, that's not.
No.
It can be hard, and you can still appreciate,
We
that
know what you
everyone is
mean.
there to see you, and I really do, and that's why we've gone so many years in a row, despite that it's not my cup of tea.
Despite the fact that we were just making a bunch of money for Viacom and VidCon too.
Sure, that's another podcast, Ben.
Yeah, maybe we'll have one just on VidCon.
VidCon,
and,
yeah. Would you guys
behind
like
the
to
scenes
hear
of VidCon?
spill the real tea about conventions?
All right, we're very close to the end here. This has gone on a while. You see yourself as more of a realist than a visionary.
Absolutely.
I think we both agree with that one.
I only want the real tea, not the visionary tea.
You find it easy to empathize with a person who has gone through something you never have.
No. I mean, I wouldn't put the super strongly disagree. I mean, I do try, obviously. It's just harder to understand it, which makes sense. Like, of course, if you haven't gone through something, it is harder to empathize with if you can't relate.
We can never truly see the world through the eyes of someone else.
In someone else's shoes, yes, Ben.
Your personal work style is closer to spontaneous bursts of energy than to organized and consistent efforts.
No, strongly disagree.
I'm going to agree with that. I tend to, if I have like a 7-hour workday, I can be very unproductive for like 5 of those hours.
Just at the end of the day.
And then just have like an amazingly productive 2 hours.
Whereas I'm up at 7. Let's go. Task number 1.
All those people who go to work like super early, you think they're like working really hard from 7 to 9 a.m. No, it's when the boss rolls in at 9 a.m. that they start working.
Are you saying I don't get up and work at 7 a.m.? Yes, I do.
All right, last page of questions, I think. Your emotions control you more than you control them.
No. Disagree.
You disagree, but I think we don't really know. I don't think we
Correct.
really know how much our emotions control us.
Of course, yeah.
After a long and exhausting week, a fun party is just what you need.
Oh my God, who wrote this exam?
When was the last time you even like went to a party?
A party?
I guess
Probably
you're like the industry.
My friend, oh yeah, if you count like VidCon parties, but a party that we didn't go that was related to business would be my friend Rachel's Halloween party like 3 years ago.
Oh, I remember that.
That's the last party we went
That
to.
felt strange, yeah.
I was dressed as a taco. A holo taco.
I just feel like as soon as you're in your late 20s, the idea of parties kind of changes. Or it did for me anyway. I wasn't really interested in going to parties anymore. But like a nice dinner party. I'm okay with a nice dinner party.
Yeah, I went to enough like drinking parties for my entire lifetime when I was in university, so I think I'm good now.
It's funny, we both automatically thought of like some like drunk rager for this question when really like a party can just be like
Isn't that the
8
only
people
kind of
having
party?
dinner.
Yeah.
All right, so
I don't like dinner parties either though, because then you have to make small talk.
you just get more stressed out of these things anyway. You always consider how your actions might affect other people doing before doing something.
I do, but I wouldn't say.
I think in this line of work, you kind of have to.
I think, but who can say they always consider that? Because sometimes you just don't.
We're overthinking
Yeah.
these questions. You care about how your actions affect other people.
Yes, yeah.
And so do I. Maybe you care more than me.
Yes.
You still honor the commitments you have made, even if you have a change of heart.
Yeah, I usually would,
You strongly agree.
to my detriment. Yeah.
I'm going to agree too. And you rarely feel insecure.
I'll put this at the second from the worst.
And, despite being, I know, like, I can come off a little arrogant sometimes, but I think that is a manifestation of insecurity in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And the things I tend to dislike in other people are things I somewhat recognize in myself a little bit. So yeah, I kind of disagree. I feel insecure.
I second from the disagree. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
See results. We're done. Uh-oh.
Woo!
So
I'm a logistician. That sounds like statistician, which is
pretty
actually
fancy.
what I am.
And I am a consul.
What does that mean? Like a
So for people who
consulate?
care about like those word acronyms, I'm an ESFJ-T and Cristine is an ISTJ-T.
So, interesting. Okay, look at the introverted, extroverted. You're 65% extroverted and I'm 89% introverted. That's pretty accurate.
I like how I'm like a man holding an umbrella, book, and a cake.
I like how I'm also a man.
And Cristine is an old man with glasses and a pen. Is there a little like just blurb about
Start. Or wait, there's a
Well,
little
do you want to
bit
look through the
more,
scores
yeah.
first? Yeah. So I'm 65% extroverted, 55% observant, 63% feeling, 51% judging. Wow, I was expecting that one to be much higher. And 58% turbulent.
Turbulent.
So Cristine is 89% introverted, 72% observant. You're 58% thinking over feeling and 76% judging over prospecting. You're more judgmental than me.
But judging
You just learned something.
isn't necessarily negative. It's not like being negatively judgmental of others. It's
Sure.
assessing situations.
It reflects
and
your
problem
approach
solving.
to work planning and decision
Exactly.
making. Okay.
Turbulent. What?
And then identity. You have a more turbulent identity than me.
What does that mean?
It's how confident we are in our abilities and decisions. And I would say it came out in this conversation quite a bit, your lack of confidence in yourself.
Yeah. Okay, start reading. What does that mean? Now we have to pay?
What does this mean? Yeah, now pay more to find out. So the logistician personality type is thought to be the most abundant, making up around 13% of the population. Their defining characteristics of integrity, practical logic, and tireless dedication to duty makes logisticians a vital core to many families, as well as organizations that uphold traditions, rules, standards such as law offices, regulatory bodies, and the military. So I think they're saying you should join the military.
No, they're saying I set the rules in this household, Ben.
Logisticians don't make many assumptions, preferring instead to analyze their surroundings, check their facts, and arrive at practical courses of actions. That sounds about right.
No nonsense.
Yeah. Little tolerance for indecisiveness.
Yeah.
But lose patience even more quickly if their chosen course is challenged with impractical theories. Logisticians' dedication is an excellent quality, allowing them to accomplish much, but is also core weakness that less scrupulous individuals take advantage of. You seek stability and security, considering it their duty to maintain a smooth operation, may find that their coworkers and significant others shift their responsibilities onto them, knowing that they will always take up the slack.
I have felt that in group projects, for example. Yeah, I would be the one who ends up doing it all.
And you would just do it all rather than like
because I wanted
complain or
it to
try
be done
together.
right.
That's interesting. And then for me,
Yeah, what's a consul?
people who share the consul personality type are, for lack of a better word, popular.
Oh, there we go.
Which makes sense, given that it is also very common personality type, making up 12% of the population. In high school, consuls are the cheerleaders and the quarterbacks, setting the tone, taking the spotlight, and leading their teams forward to victory and fame. I don't know about that.
You were popular. You've said this before.
Yeah, but I was
You were
like
popular
band
with
geek.
everyone.
I was just
Whatever.
I was just friends with everyone.
It doesn't really matter. It just means that other people like you.
Discussing scientific theories or debating European politics isn't likely to capture the consul's interest for too long. Consuls are more concerned with fashion and their appearance, their social status, and the standings of other people.
You sound like a YouTuber.
I think I failed this personality test.
I wonder if YouTubers end up being consuls.
But this isn't like right.
I don't know.
Do I care about my appearance?
Yeah, I guess not.
Playdates aren't just for kids. Supportive and outgoing consuls can always be spotted at a party. They're the ones finding time to chat and laugh with everyone.
Huh. I mean, like, that's not really true. You don't go out of your way to go to parties. I think maybe you answered some of the party questions a little too strongly. Because so far that part of it doesn't sound that accurate of
Also,
you.
I think like me being social parties is making up for the fact that we're at parties together and you are like super unwilling
So
to
you
talk
have
to
to
strangers.
talk
So
to
I
make
just
up
kind of
for-
have
yeah.
to do it. Coming to terms with their sensitivity is the console's biggest challenge. People are going to disagree and they're going to criticize. And while it hurts, it's just a part of life. Consoles you may know. Taylor Swift, Jennifer Garner, Bill Clinton, and a terrible person, Steve Harvey.
Why is he terrible?
He's an awful guy. You can find super cuts of him in interviews just saying
Okay.
a bunch of crazy shit about stereotypes about how men are pigs and women need to know that and how atheists have no morality. Terrible person. Fuck you, Steve Harvey.
All right.
Okay, strengths and weaknesses.
What are your strengths?
I have strong practical skills, a sense of duty. I'm very loyal, sensitive,
That's
and
true.
warm.
You are very loyal. Yeah. You're a good supporter.
And good at connecting with others.
That's true. You are. You are well liked. Like, you do get along with people.
I don't know. Have you seen the comments lately?
They're all positive. People like you.
And your strengths are you're honest and direct, strong-willed and dutiful, very responsible, calm and practical. You create and enforce order, and you're a jack of all trades.
I do have multiple talents.
You
I
are
guess, if you put it
multi-talented.
that- Yeah. Paint my nails, but also run some crime data.
Do you want to look at our weaknesses too?
I don't know. Is this going to be good for our mental health? Let's look.
So I'm worried about my social status.
Which you kind of admitted. You said you did care. And that it's not a bad thing always to care, what people think of you.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a negative thing to care what people think of you. Otherwise, we'd all just be monsters.
But if this were completely true, wouldn't you be out here trying to make your own YouTube channel and trying to be like the super famous guy on the internet, which you're not doing? Do you want to explain why you haven't made your own YouTube channel? Like, I mean, you have Nintendo, but that doesn't really count.
No, that was
why haven't you become your own YouTuber, Ben?
I mean, that this podcast has been an outlet for us to have conversation.
Yeah, but don't you want your own fame?
I don't like being the center of attention so much.
So it sounds like that part of being a console doesn't really align with you. Yeah.
It also says I'm inflexible. I place a lot of importance on what is socially acceptable and can be very cautious, even critical of anything unconventional or outside the mainstream.
I don't think that's true at all. You will criticize things even if it's the unpopular opinion to do so.
I'm reluctant to innovate or improvise. That doesn't seem right either.
No.
Did I? What is going on here?
Well, maybe mine will be just as bad. Let's see.
I'm vulnerable to criticism. I mean, I guess we all are.
Yeah.
To some extent.
Needy.
Often too needy. What do you? Am I needy, Christine?
It just says you need to hear and see a great deal of appreciation.
I need to feel appreciated by you.
I appreciate you.
Thank you. And I'm too selfless. Did I click the wrong button or something here?
What? They often neglect their own needs in the process. I don't think that's true.
Didn't I answer this in a pretty selfish, like, take care of yourself kind of way?
I think there were some questions that maybe you just hit the too far on the right rather than you could have gone one notch down and you might have gotten a different outcome. You might be bordering two different personalities here. I wish they gave you a score and like showed you like in a matrix where you scored, because I think it might be close to another one.
Maybe this is just proof that people don't just fall into nice little boxes you want to say they are.
You mean you're not just an Aries?
Let's look at your weaknesses, dear.
Uh-oh.
You are stubborn.
That's
the
true.
facts are the facts, and you tend to resist any new idea that isn't supported by them.
That is true. Can't deny.
You're a little stubborn, but I find we can like work through a problem, and you're willing to change your mind if someone convinces you something is a better idea.
If you convince me, yeah.
You just don't like being convinced. It's hard to convince you. Yeah.
Insensitive. Aw.
You often hurt more sensitive types' feelings by the simple mantra that honesty is the best policy.
I mean, I guess that's true, and maybe it's a tough love approach, but it's not because I don't care about the feelings of others. It's because I'm trying to help them in the most logical way.
Exactly. That question about like you just giving people solutions to problems rather than just giving them your empathy is a really good example of how this plays out, maybe.
Always by the book.
Always by the book. You believe things work best with clearly defined rules.
Follow the rules. Follow the law. That's why I don't commit criminal offenses.
That's you're not a criminal. Logisticians are not criminals. Judgmental. Opinions are opinions and facts are facts. And logisticians are unlikely to respect people who disagree with those facts.
I really, like when I see people's advice or comments that disagree with widespread scientific evidence or something, I really roll my eyes at those people. And I do find myself like being like, you guys are fucking dumb. So I definitely judge people who I feel don't listen to facts just because of their own irrationality.
I mean, especially if it's something where it's like dangerous, like not vaccinating your kids or things like that, right?
Yeah, I wasn't going to give those
not
examples,
to open that can of worms, but...
but it is frustrating. I find myself frustrated at those people,
Yeah. Or people trying to like scam people on the coronavirus and like make money off it. Yeah. Terrible. And your last weakness,
should judge those people.
You often unreasonably blame yourself for things.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I don't know about that, but
they load themselves with extra work and responsibilities, turning away good intentions and helpful ideas. And then they hit a tipping point where they simply can't deliver. What? I mean, like I always deliver.
You always deliver.
I always deliver.
Do you want to see if we're compatible? Does it say if we're compatible with each other?
Do we match? Because Libra and Aries don't match, I don't think.
I mean, who cares? Do you believe in that stuff at all?
Do you believe in this stuff?
I think I believe in this a little. I don't think this outcome for me made a lot of sense. But people, with all due respect to the people who are super into like their astrological signs, I think that's a bunch of like cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs nonsense.
I think it is what you want it to be, and if it helps you, then great.
If anything else, but you could say that about anything. Like you could say like fortune cookies help me make sense of my life and live a healthier, happier life. But to me, I put it basically on the same level as that.
So are we compatible? Based on our personalities.
I'm looking for, I was hoping they would just tell me outright. I have specific needs in my relationship. Certain personality types are best able to meet those needs. In general, partners should share Consul's observance trait.
So that's S.
But it can also be useful to develop a sense of introspection that introverted partners can provide.
Me.
Hey. And then let's see what works for you. Partners who share the observant trait are the best fit for the logistician. Yes, we share that. With one or two opposing traits to create balance and to expand the logistician's sometimes overly isolated world. Such as partners with extroverted or prospecting traits.
And that's you.
So I think
we fit like a puzzle piece.
So we don't have to break up. According to this,
we can stay together.
There
will not be a breakup video.
We'll stay together for the cats.
For the cats or for our personalities.
I mean, I don't put a lot of weight on these sorts of things. Yeah. I can now say I've taken a personality test, and I'm glad I did not fail.
I think for me, it confirmed what I already knew, and you kind of know the outcome based on how you're answering the questions. Maybe that's just me overanalyzing everything.
I guess, is this a common thing too, where like they have like 5 questions that are basically the same? I guess they're just trying to validate that you're actually...
to which degree you agree. And I think maybe you hit the overly agree on a few of them, and it might have swung you in this particular direction. But maybe if you took it again and softened some of those thoughts, maybe you'd end up with another one. I think I would end up the same, even if I adjusted a little.
Your result seems pretty good. I don't know if mine makes a whole lot of sense. But comment down below what you think about our personalities.
Yeah, which personality do you think we are? Is it what we got today, or is it different?
Yeah, really.
I think the best people to judge our personalities are the people who watch us, right?
Yeah, well, they're only seeing the mediated 15-minute or hour-long conversation version of us, right? They're seeing the front stage. They are.
Not the backstage.
Although we try to be I don't feel like... Early on, I feel like I was very closed off and nervous about being on camera, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think over time, quite an evolution.
Oh, yeah, in those early videos, you can barely hear me. I don't think my personality has changed as much as I just sort of stopped caring so much about being on camera and what other people thought. Yeah,
and I think that's really good. Like, I'm so proud of you in that sense for just changing the way you behave so that you behave more like openly. You're just doing what you want to do rather than being reserved and shy. Yeah, I've kind of done the opposite.
Yeah, I wasn't fishing for a compliment there. I was just trying to explain that I think my personality has been consistent. I think I'm just a little bit more open now than I was before. Right. Yeah. But sorry, not to cut you off. How do you think your personality has changed online anyway?
I think it's gotten harder for me to be on camera, whereas it's gotten easier for you. We've kind of switched.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I don't think I was ever built for this?
It sounds funny because you run a YouTube channel with like 7 million
and I used to be a child actress, so people always bring that up.
But like, yeah, you don't really have a desire to be famous.
I don't have a desire to be seen because I am a introverted, logistician.
That's right.
We don't need to be seen. So it is very strange and out of character for me to put myself on the internet in the first place. That's why for so long I didn't have my face in my videos, because I'm like, I don't want people seeing my face. Yeah. And I don't feel the need to have people see my face.
And it was only because you very logically came to the realization that was like the smart, strategic thing to do, not just to grow a channel, but it just sort of creatively made sense for your
and it was what a lot
of
people were asking for. That's what the audience was asking for. Tell us more about you. Can you do some voiceovers? Once I did voiceovers, can we see your face? And I realized that the majority of YouTubers, like, their face is on. You can't be a YouTuber without a face. It's weird anyways in that market. So that's why I did it. I've never been comfortable with the idea of being like a famous face. And it's still strange to me when like you Google SimplyPodLogical and it's like career YouTuber. And I'm like, what happened? I don't know.
It makes me wonder if like I could see your channel one day maybe like kind of coming full circle, and like it started out with like a macro shot of nail tutorials and then got like kooky stuff of you and I doing on camera. I wonder if one day
it's a return.
It's just gonna go back to like your kind of voiceover close-ups of your hand kind of thing.
Well, that's kind of what I've been doing on the Holo Taco channel. No voiceover, just my nails. Occasionally I'll do like a nail art tutorial, and that's what I started doing in 2014.
Yeah, it's kind of a throwback to the original.
I have better cameras and a little bit better royalty-free music now than I did in 2014. And the cropped dimensions make sense for like the video frame now. Yeah. But yeah. Anyways, this was fun. Is there anything else at the bottom here?
I think it goes on and on, but like we've talked a lot. People are probably checking out.
Are people sick of our personalities?
This test took much. It said it would take 12 minutes, and I think we just overthought.
Well, it's because we're talking about it, and two of us had to take it.
But like, I mean, we could have just done like one of those BuzzFeed quizzes, like, which Harry Potter house are you? Or like, what YouTuber would you be? Or what kind of food would you be?
Yeah. Are you a sociopath or a psychopath? I was looking forward to that quiz, but maybe next time.
Hey, maybe next time we'll do are you a sociopath or psycho? Actually, you said you took the psychopathy test once.
Yeah.
So do you remember? What was the outcome? You're not going to say.
It was negative.
Oh, it was negative.
I was not a psychopath.
You could just be
because the traits on like the PCLR and the really serious ones, like they're really bad shit. Like you have to agree with. Like it's like torturing animals. Like,
okay, we're not taking that. We'll take what kind of food? What kind of fruit are
you?
What kind of food are we according to BuzzFeed?
I'm an oat.
Oh yeah, you'd be Oats.
An Oats overnight. Use my code Simply at Oats.com for 10% off.
Good plug there. All right. Well, apologies to Matt Stoney. We were going to have him on to talk about how he can eat so much food, but we ran out of time. You don't know who that is? He's a YouTuber. He runs a channel where he's like eating 20 Big Macs in 5 minutes. He gets like, I think he has like 10 million. He gets millions and millions of views. Really fascinating guy. But we're really sorry to him. We had a tray of food outside and he was going to eat it live on the podcast, but we ran out of time.
We ate it all. Like, what? No, we ate it.
I have a hungry personality type.
Yeah.
All right, everybody.
Thank you guys.
Thanks for tuning in.
Listening.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see y'all next. Actually, before we go, we were discussing 2 different topics for next week. And I kind of want to hear other people's opinion on what they want for next week.
Sure.
So 2 possible topics were high school and our experiences, which could get honestly kind of dark. So if you're not feeling that, that's okay.
Sure.
And then the other one was Canadian stereotypes.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of questions about like what it's like in Canada, or like you see those joking comments like, oh, I wish I could leave America and move to Canada. Yeah. But I feel like a lot of people don't really have much idea about what Canada's actually like.
Not that we're like spokespeople for Canada.
No, but we like it here. And just the fact that we've chosen to not move to LA, even though that would be good for your online career.
So for either of them, we would take questions from you guys. But we're just kind of deciding which one do we do first. So comment down below which podcast topic interests you more.
Or hit us up on Twitter. I think we're most likely to see
Reddit,
you.
Instagram. What else we have? Facebook.
All right. No one's listening anymore. Thank you so much for
Thanks,
watching.
guys.
See you next Taco Tuesday. See y'all later.
Bye.